All right, so here we are. Welcome to Crushing Limits Unleashed podcast. This is episode 8, joined by Stephanie Santamaria and my good friend Jordan Beckman. So, how you guys doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, doing great here.
Yeah.
So, today's topic, a lot of times, especially too with social media, there's a lot of talk on, good coaches, great coaches, bad coaches. But a lot of times we don't hear about the client side, right? So today we're going to just kind of discuss what it actually takes to be a good client, because obviously, those two roles they work hand in hand, and I
Right.
think it's important, because obviously we do have a big team. We've all worked with coaches in the past, so
Yeah.
I think this will be a
Good
good
and
one to
bad.
cover.
Yeah. Good and bad coaches. I
Yeah,
think I think what makes a good client, I think just like the obvious one is transparency, right? Like between you and the coach. Like the coach does well. You
you cut off
he
there, man.
doesn't know if you're missing meals if you don't tell him.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Oh, can you hear me?
yeah, I can
One
hear you.
second.
Yeah, it was cutting out for a little bit.
Hold on. Give me one second.
He looks surprised
All
now.
right. Give me one second. I'm gonna pop. I'm
So yeah, he actually he stated the first one I was going to say, which goes to, of course, with any relationship, and that's going to be communication, right?
Right. Being clear with your coach, the more information you give on a check-in, the better. And if your coach isn't having to track you down to get more information, answer questions, and figure things out just to help adjust a plan, it saves time for everyone.
Yep, yep, yeah, and with communication too, that's something that we've had to improve on our process, when it comes to client check-ins, and even with the process that we have currently, there still can be that lack of communication. If a client isn't filling out the form correctly, or a lot of times you can tell if the form was rushed, right?
Mhm. But we're still way ahead of in the past. I remember getting check-ins with pictures and weight. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing
Which,
else. No information about how the week went. And I don't know how any coach is supposed to work with that.
yeah. Yeah. Pictures and weight. I mean, that's not really going to help you with a whole lot as far as navigating the plan.
Hmm.
The other thing too, and this kind of goes right into it, is the accountability piece from a client. A client that is really in it, and they've obviously invested money with the coach. They've invested their time and their efforts, and you know it's on them to be accountable. So the accountability comes to being upfront with your coach. How many drinks did you have over the weekend, or are you leaving things out? You might tell your coach, yeah, I had a little bit extra on my cheat meal. Well, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That goes back to that just details. When in doubt, give more detail, more information than you may think is necessary.
Hmm. Yeah,
sorry
it's
about that, guys.
He's bad.
no, you're good.
I was like, it connected to my internet, so it booted me. You guys were good. The internet connection
Good.
was super low. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we were just finishing up on the accountability portion from a client. Just being upfront with your coach, like how many
Yeah.
drinks did you have? Did
Right.
you did you eat the whole pizza when it should have been a slice or two?
Yeah. I think what I was kind of hitting at, I think you guys probably even chimed into a little bit, was just like having that transparency with your coach, and and just being honest with yourself and your goals, right? I think that's what makes a great client. You don't have to be genetically gifted. I think sometimes like clients feel like that they may get less attention. I don't know how it is all the time. I think the little period of time that I've had clients, if they were like lifestyle versus competitive, sometimes the lifestyle clients think, well, I'm not the genetically gifted one, so maybe, I'm not going to get that type of attention. But I think in reality, sometimes as coaches or prior coach, right? We kind of lean towards those lifestyle clients because sometimes they're a little easier to work with, a little bit better. They're way more honest for sure. Because they're super open. Like, they'll ask you every little detail, right? Like, I mean, Chris, you have 80 plus clients, man. You probably get texts all day talking about, can I have this instead of this?
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Well, is cream of
Yeah.
rice really? Can I supplement that for white rice? Just trying to see what they can get away with.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good thing you mentioned too, because like covering contest prep, we see it all the time. We saw it so much in 2024.
yeah,
And I think that clients, as a client, sometimes you lose sight of the goal. If the goal is to, place in the top five, maybe the goal is to win your first overall or turn IFBB pro. As we get down closer and closer, the more locked in you have to be. You got to be dialed. Like at that point, I have this saying I tell people, there is no more room for error at this point.
for sure, for sure.
It's like we don't have an extra day to peak correctly. We don't have an extra 10 minutes to catch up on cardio. Like it
Nope.
has to be executed perfectly.
Yep. What's done is done. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another quality of a good client, right? Someone who
Yeah.
executes the plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're not skipping
And
cardio or
Yep.
workouts.
What?
They're not eating extra food. They're not, they're asking the right questions so
Right.
that things go smoothly and correctly.
And clients should never be afraid to ask questions, contest prep or lifestyle. That is like that's what you have the coach for.
Mhm.
Right? He's going to embrace the fact that you're asking questions because he knows you're being disciplined and you're trying to stay correct on your plan. You know, I mean, there's a big difference. I think Ali last time she was on, she was like, "Yeah, I was doing 3 cups. It was like 1 cup of dry rice, which is like 3 cups of cooked rice, which is insane. That's I mean that's a lot for somebody to eat. I mean, I would struggle to eat that myself,
Right.
but yeah, it's just don't be afraid to ask your coach questions because that's you pay your coach. They're there to bounce information off of and get that expert opinion, especially when you got an awesome guy like Chris who's been in this 20 years. You want to make sure you're being transparent and asking those questions because he has so much knowledge to give, right? So that's kind of why we all hired him, right? Like in the first place.
Mhm.
you know. So, but Chris, I guess I got a question for you. What are some common things you see? Because I think you kind of touched on the point where you said, when we're 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, what are some common mistakes or some common errors you would see from clients being that close to show? Because sometimes when you're that lean, and if you're actually lean, you're tired and you do make mistakes. What are some like common errors that you see along the way from clients that if you could give them advice, how would you fix it? Like how would you fix those mistakes or how would you tell them to relay those mistakes to you?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, which, Stephanie will probably have a few things to add here. But I would say number one when it comes to mind is trying to get away with stuff. You touched on that earlier. It's like you shouldn't be at this point. We're so close to the finish line. We're so close to reaching that goal. We're so close to game day. you shouldn't care about what your food tastes like. I mean,
Yeah.
take it from me, with
Yeah.
all the surgeries with the
Yeah.
colitis, I get one option, it's salt. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
swear that the end of prep, those final like couple weeks, everyone is asking what they can have. Can I have this? They're texting pictures of labels and like different drinks, sauces. I don't know what, carb sources, like the
Yeah.
weirdest things. And it's like, just keep
I,
doing what you're doing till the end.
I think from a competitive aspect, and I don't know if this comes from playing sports my whole life, from playing football my whole life, but that fourth quarter mindset, like put up or shut up, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just go, I got to make sure my cardio's complete. I just got to make sure my diet's on point. Guess what? I don't care if I've ate chicken for the last 7 months. It's 4 more weeks. It's three
Hmm.
more weeks. It's
yeah,
it's it's the and I'll say this. That's the difference between first place, you know, second or first place in your class, and potentially winning an overall, potentially placing top 10, top five at your first national show. Like that's going to separate you from a lot of guys because there's going to be and girls. That's like that portion of it is going to make sure your stuff is so on point that you don't miss, and you want to give yourself the best chance when you go do these shows. None of us want to work our ass off, sorry, our butts off for the next 6 months and then get to the finish line and worry about, should I be drinking this, sugar-free drink, or should I be, hey, you've already put the work in, finish it's only 2 more weeks. It's only 3 more weeks, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Well, and
that,
how about the regret of so say you place one spot outside of the winning, the
Pro
winning
card.
winner's
Pro
circle,
card. Yep.
and you didn't execute 100% in your prep. You know what's going through my mind?
Yep.
Oh, if I'd have just done that last session of cardio, if I'd have just followed the plan
Right.
like I was told to.
Yep. If I didn't mess up,
Yeah.
a week before the show or 2 weeks before the show and binge eat, cheesecake and everything else, it's it speaks, it speaks volume when you go into these preps. And I think like it's true, man. Like when you get into bodybuilding, you have to, you're a little crazy. You have to be just a little bit kind of crazy because we do push ourselves to the extreme when it comes to dieting and conditioning. But at the end of the day, when you're standing there and you're holding that trophy or you're holding that pro card, you guys can attest to this. It was all worth it. It was worth eating that plain chicken with salt, because that's
yeah.
history now. That's
Hmm.
history, and some people don't get a second chance at that. Some people get one. I mean, Chris, 22 years, 23 years of competing till you got the card,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, man. It's, and you never know.
Yep.
Maybe I would have gotten injured along the way, or maybe with the surgeries, I would have never been able to come back.
Right,
And
right.
it's,
Yeah.
we've all been there where we didn't study for the test and we just showed up, right?
We just showed
And
up.
we're like, you just show up and it's like, what did
Yeah.
you expect was going to happen? Like,
Right. No
you,
preparation. No, no, no. Yeah.
yeah, like, did you think you were going to accidentally like win a pro
Yeah.
card or accidentally
Yeah.
get an A on your test? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
for most of us, that's not going to happen.
Oh, I mean, there's the anomalies where it's like this guy's just, I mean, you've seen it, 25 years of experience. You've seen, I think we just talked about a guy recently who just showed up to a show and nobody knew who he was. And he
Yep.
didn't have an Instagram. And he came in there and just wiped the floor with everybody because he's probably been doing this for quite a while. He's probably been perfect on that meal plan.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, with last year, it's kind of funny, but it's the first time it popped in my head. But competitors, I mean, it can relate a lot to like a pregnancy.
yeah.
Whereas like, we've all known someone that is just craving the weirdest stuff, and it's like, hey, coach, can I have this? Can I sub this for this? The short answer is no, you cannot.
No. Just look
No.
at that meal plan and see. Say, "Ah, I don't see that on there anywhere."
Yeah.
Chances are, coach is going to say the same thing. No, you
Yeah.
know.
And I always feel bad too because I don't want to be like an asshole. Like, but I explain to them like we have to stick to what is working. We can't just throw these curveballs at the end of a prep and think your body is just going to accept all brown rice now. We've been doing white rice the whole time. Like,
Yep.
it's like you just have to tough it out. And it's like at the end
Yeah.
of the day, we're just eating,
Yeah.
under caloric maintenance,
Yeah.
just to basically perform and look our best. So it's like
Yeah.
it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I will say from being a competitor mostly and having a coach, I will say those last couple weeks, like you have almost like this fog to you, like in your brain. It's if you're lean and you're really dieting hard and you're getting in shape, you have a fog. So I think, I wouldn't want to make excuses for guys messing up on their plan, but I think at that point in time when we talk about, what makes a good client, when you get that lean, having transparency with your coach and letting him know, hey, I'm a little foggy in my brain. If I do make mistakes or if something does happen, be transparent with your coach and just because those last 4 weeks, and if you're lean, you're just eating. The best time of the day is that 45-minute to an hour training session when you feel the best, and then you're back to being tired, you
Yeah.
know, and you're just trying to get there. You're just trying to get to the finish line, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other
So,
thing,
yeah, go ahead.
oh,
No,
yeah,
go
the
ahead. You're
other
good.
thing I feel like people miss too, it seems like it's just a really obvious thing, but being a client, you have to check a couple of boxes. And, number
Yeah.
one, you have to have a positive mindset, right? You know, Once in a while we'll get a bad apple to where it's just like, oh, this isn't working, this and this.
Yeah.
I don't have any motivation. And at the end of the day, your coach is not there to hold your hand when it comes to motivation because it's like we say it
Right.
all the time, like we can't house 100 clients like that.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be
Yeah. Yeah.
great, you know if
Yeah.
if you have if we're preparing the food and there's no room for air. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to provide the motivation and at least a
Yeah.
positive mindset. You're not going to be positive 100% of the time. We're
No.
humans, right?
That's
But
that makes champions though.
Yeah.
If you every
100%.
anybody can do it on a good day. Can you do it on a bad day?
Yeah.
Can you show
So
up when everything else is against you? Sorry, not to cut you off, Steph. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, no, 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 that's fine. I think that goes into like a good client knows when is the right time to start a prep, when is the right time to start a
Yeah.
goal. They have to be in it. They have to have the correct reason why they're
Yeah.
doing something. They have to have the correct support system in their personal life
Yeah.
to make it through something like a prep. If
That's
you
another topic.
if
That's
you
another
cannot start a fitness goal or a prep with a good mindset,
yeah.
don't bother.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I Guys, you can't be mean to your spouses when you're in prep. Like that is the one. Like I've seen it too many times. That's a
Yeah.
little off topic. That's another topic for another day. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think what makes a good client when they're in prep. Now I like where we're going, especially because we've been touching on the competitor. But what like I have very little to no experience with like the lifestyle clients. What makes a great lifestyle client and what makes a bad lifestyle client?
Reality.
Yeah. Okay.
Realistic goals.
Right, right.
And being realistic with themselves.
Yeah,
It holds true. What you put into something is what you're gonna get out of it.
right.
I actually find that lifestyle people tend to veer off the path more than a
Yeah,
competitor. So if you're only giving me 70%, don't expect 150% results
right, right,
just because you hired someone.
right, right,
So just being realistic. Also with lifestyle people, it's typically a slower path to goals because a competitor, they're going to be pushed harder. They're
right.
going to be expected to do more cardio.
Yeah,
less calories,
Right.
potentially. Where a lifestyle person, you don't necessarily want to push them the same as a
Yeah.
guy.
And what's a I guess I mean, is there really to say this, is there really a good, weight loss per month for like a lifestyle client? Like is the weight loss is a client gonna drop, are they thinking like 3 or 4 pounds? Or are they trying to drop 10 pounds? Because as competitors, it's like when we get into it, we may drop. I've seen it to where guys have dropped 10, 12 pounds in a month. You know what I mean? But I've also seen it to where guys were they get into prep fairly lean and they may only drop 6 pounds all prep, right? So for I guess what would be like expectations for a lifestyle client, or is that really situational? You know?
Definitely situational because if you got a person coming to you that's 300 plus pounds and they eat McDonald's all day, every day, and they suddenly start eating clean food, well, a lot of water is going to come off immediately, and you're
Yeah.
going to see a big drop in those first couple weeks, but then it'll taper down. But if someone's coming to you, they're already active, already eating fairly clean, and you're just making small adjustments,
Yeah.
it's going to be a slower process.
Whole process. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah,
Chris wants
one
to add
thing.
to it.
No, I agree with that. It is going to be situational. And I'll cover a couple things, but um, we had a client recently, a lifestyle client, where they didn't want to prep their food and they didn't have any motivation. So it's like, well, we're kind of dead in the water,
Yeah.
and this client prepped food one time on a Sunday, didn't really like the turnout. The food kind of got kind of gross by the end of the week, which, there's solutions for that. I don't know the whole like work schedule and the inner workings of that, but it's like, all right, some people have the luxury where they can prepare every meal fresh. That's great. That's not the majority, but that's great, and some of us have to prep food, maybe twice a week or three times.
Yeah.
But that's just the requirement if you want to achieve the goal.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and I had had a few, talks with this person, and ultimately it just came down to what Stephanie was saying. This isn't the right time, because like our
Yeah.
last episode covered, I want this goal more than you do. Like
Yeah.
you're not willing to prep the food and you're not motivated to do the cardio or the workouts. So it's like we have nothing to work on then.
Yeah. I have
It's
I
just
can't want this more than you.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Problem
just
solvers. Problem solvers are great clients.
Problem solvers are
yeah.
great clients. Yeah. I guess I can kind of test and be because I think Chris, what we started working, has it been 3 months now, 4 months now that
Yeah,
we
three
kind
months
of,
here.
yeah. And I mean, I was that bad client there for a little bit. I was starting and stopping and starting and stopping, and then I it was um you know timing. It was timing. The
Yeah.
start. Not saying that there's ever going to be a perfect time, and that you can't. I think if you're organized and you're good at being able to follow structure, it's a lot easier. But if you've never had that in your life, I think that can make a bad client too. If you've never had your real structure and you're going at it for the first time, because you're gonna be against your back's gonna be against the wall because this is so new to you.
Right.
And even for somebody like myself who's been an athlete his whole life, who's competed in bodybuilding, after 6 or 7 years trying to get back into it, I remember I messaged you and then I was like, all right, I'm ready to start. And then I started it for like 2 weeks and I stopped because the timing in my mind wasn't there. My mind wasn't right. And then I think it was like, I know when I text you, I said, you're gonna give me a hard time, I know, but I'm ready. And he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna give you a hard time, but let's go."
But
You
that's,
know?
I mean, that is part of the process and having the fortitude to withstand that there are going to be bumps in the road at the beginning.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
are going to be learning curves, but that's where, like I said,
yeah,
problem solvers
yeah,
are amazing because
yeah,
there's gonna be something that comes up. So a person preps their food for the whole week. They realize by the end of the week it doesn't taste fresh and they don't like that.
yeah,
Well, then, like Chris said, prep at the
Yeah.
beginning of the week and midweek.
Or
That's
maybe
what we
prep for two
do.
days, depending on
Right.
how it works. Yeah.
And you cannot tell me, because this is where you can find a problem solver or none, or just someone looking for an excuse.
Yeah.
The time it takes you to get in your car, go drive to a restaurant and pick up some shit food, you can air fry chicken
Yeah.
in less time.
In less time. And you're at home still or the
And
office.
you don't have to go out in the cold because we're in
Yeah.
Minnesota and it's so
Yeah.
cold right now.
Yep.
Like, so that's where you figure out a problem solver or just an excuse giver.
Yeah. I was like, I have no excuses. I have an air fryer at work. Zero
Yeah.
excuses, man. And an oven. They got a full service kitchen in their office. So yeah, no excuses there.
But it doesn't have to be perfect week one. You have to
Yeah.
give yourself a little grace. But as long as
Yeah.
you're progressing in the right direction and
Yeah.
figuring it out and what works for you,
Yeah.
that's
I
great.
will I think the best piece of advice I can give a person who's getting ready to start out, whether it's lifestyle or competitor, no matter what, senior check-ins, no matter what, because it's if you start seeing the pictures and you go, damn, I look bad. The second I look bad. Something just clicks. Something clicks because it's not the weight on the, it's not so, for me, it wasn't so much the weight on the scale because I've been 260, 270 and fairly in shape. It was the pictures. And I was like, all right, I seen that week one. It's like, week two, I'm like, oh shit, it's not getting any better. I really got to take this stuff serious. But if that's one piece of advice that I could give, clients starting out, like, don't miss your check-ins.
Hmm.
Do not miss your check-ins. That's going to make you, because when you see it, I think a lot of people don't realize how, and I'm not even saying a lot of people, I'm just saying like people in general are, they don't ever look at themselves in in that perspective, right? So when you take that picture and then you see yourself, you go, shoot, I'm not in shape. Damn, I need to get back going,
So there it is. Good clients send their check-ins
all the
on the
time.
right day and on time.
Are
Yes,
you looking?
on time. Yep. Yeah.
Remember, your coach has probably scheduled out a chunk of their day
For sure.
or a certain day of the week to work on client plans.
Then
So
you're
if you are
checking.
sending them whatever day you think you want, if you're sending them whatever time you think you want, you
Yeah.
might be SOL. You might not
Yeah.
get adjustments if you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
not sending
Yeah.
on time.
Yeah. I agree. Yep.
Yeah, that's a thing that just gets kind of lost in the mix in this industry, and other industries too, where you hire a mentor, or a financial advisor. Your coach is not sitting at a computer, just sitting there waiting for your
Yep.
check-in. Like
Yep. Yep.
they are not there 24/7, like Stephanie
Right.
said. They have a schedule too. They have a regular life. Even if they
Yeah.
just do this as their sole job, they're not just sitting there waiting. That's
Yeah.
not how it works.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I got a question for both of you guys because you guys do this, religiously. Do you fire bad clients?
That's a good question. I
Or
think,
should you, not specifically you, should you fire bad clients?
yeah.
Yeah.
The short answer would absolutely be yes.
Yeah.
There are those coaches out there that honestly just point blank they can't afford to
Mhm.
fire a bad client.
Yeah.
I think in all of my tenure, with and without Stephanie, I think I've only let one or two people go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like
And we've maybe
maybe,
come close to a couple more,
yeah.
Yeah.
but we've been able to resolve the situation.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know that there are harder coaches out there, like we're still human, we still care, and we want to get the job done. But that kind of goes into, another point that I had is kind of just respecting you obviously have to respect your coach. If you choose a coach that you respect and admire, whether it's themselves, how they conduct themselves, or maybe you respect their accomplishments, like just like any boss out there, like, you're not always given the choice of, who's your boss, but it goes a long way when you actually have respect for your boss, or maybe they've
Sure.
hit a company record, or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. when you respect your coach and your boss, like you're gonna want to comply. You're gonna want to get those check-ins.
Yeah.
Uh, and you're also gonna want to respect the boundaries. Like, I've worked with plenty of people and it's like, I know better. I'm not gonna text or message or email someone at 11 p.m. on a Sunday. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
that's that, that I'm not
Yeah.
having any respect for there's no boundary there.
There's no boundary there. Yep. 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 And I think sometimes clients forget that although they have access to you, right, that it is that respect thing. Like, I get it. I understand, you pay for a coach. His obligation is not to respond to you at even 9 p.m. I think
Hmm
9 p.m. is like, I think your cutoff in all reality is probably about 3 p.m. Like union hours, you know, done at three.
Well,
Because
it's more, is this emergent question that
right,
really actually needs to be answered?
right.
And, a lot of times we find sometimes people will ask a question and their check-in is the next day. And it's
Uh,
like,
uh,
well,
All
you
the
yeah,
time.
could, there is, the opportunity with your check-ins
yeah,
to address any questions, comments, concerns,
right, right. Yeah. There's a lengthy,
But if it's
questionnaire.
something I
Yeah,
need to know right away,
yeah.
absolutely message me. And
And there's really no emergency unless you're 2 weeks out from the show.
Hmm
You know what I mean? If you're 6 months out from a show, it can wait.
Yeah.
or
It
if you're
definitely can
about to
wait.
have a breakdown, a binge
Yeah,
fest, like
yeah,
message me first.
right.
But
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah,
but I like to hear accomplishments through the week here and there within
yeah,
reason. If someone sends me a PR video, I love it.
yeah,
I'm excited for them as well.
yep.
So
And I
it's just
and I
kind
think
of
and
having
it's
a
yeah.
wherewithal of what's appropriate and what's not.
Yeah, what's appropriate, what's not. And what I like that we do, like especially with the team, is that, like, you guys are great coaches, right? Like, you guys put on team events, and then you guys go out your way to, um, you know, which I like was kind of make your clients feel special, right? Like, I've seen you guys, give out shirts, give out gear, get guys lifting belts once they got their pro cards, with their name on it. And you guys go out your way to do great things for your clients. And in retrospect, I think clients, new clients and future clients, just with taking into consideration of your coaches and what they've accomplished and what they're doing and how they treat their clients. But try to always put your best foot forward when you're going to start prep or when you're going to start a diet, and just and learn, man. Like, if you can fall in love with the process and not so much the prize, when you start really getting down to the nitty-gritty of timing your meals, sodium, you know, weighing your meals. Don't forget to weigh your meals. God, I did that for almost a year, I think. Like, I was like, oh, it looks like it's 5 ounce, 4 ounces, 5 ounces of chicken, and it was like 8 ounces of chicken. So, I think you guys have done a really awesome job building what you guys have built, and I think we can all learn a little bit from how disciplined you guys have been over the years and being better clients, myself too.
Well, we definitely
Hey,
appreciate that, man.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
And one thing too, you know, when you're hiring a coach as a client too, it's just like think about, your boss at work. You need to be able to accept feedback, you know.
Mm.
And I think sometimes people forget about this. I'll tell you a funny story. Corey White on the team. So we've been working together now a little over 4 years. He actually started coaching under Stephanie. Worked with Stephanie for, I don't know, the better part of a year. And then he switched to me when it came time to do a full contest prep. And 2 years ago, this was like we were already several shows in and we were posing at Los Campeones and we were 6 weeks out. I remember the day like it was yesterday. And he looked really, really good, like really impressive, like veins across his abs, and like he
Yeah.
he was pretty ripped up, and we were posing at the end of the workout, and I could tell like he was really feeling himself, and this is the best he's ever
Yeah.
looked, so as
Yeah.
he should be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm like, well, we still got about 12 pounds to go or so, like we have a long way to go still, even though you look amazing. And he was kind of blown away by that, because most coaches would just say, oh, you're good, man, just keep doing it, keep doing your thing, just we'll see you at the
You
finish
need
line.
that. You need that for sure.
Yeah.
You did that to me my first show.
Yeah.
It's like you're lean, you're not shredded yet. Wait, you're lean? Like you
Yeah.
still got some work to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone needs that person, whether it's a coach or their second eye, maybe it's a spouse they
Yeah.
trust, where they can say like, "You're good, but you're not there yet."
Not there yet.
And then of course when he gets to the show, he wins his first overall because we didn't stop pushing until the end,
Yep.
you
Yep.
know?
It's those last couple weeks, man. It's when you think you're lean and but you can get leaner, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And he could have been upset with me. He could have switched coaches. He could have
yeah.
said, "You know what? Like, forget this Chris guy. Like, I look good
I look
enough.
good.
I'm ready. I'm ready already."
Yep.
But no, he just, Corey's someone, he doesn't complain much, and he just continued to work. And
Yeah.
and obviously in this case it certainly paid off for him.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Is he gonna be at the team lift? I don't think I've met Corey yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is gonna be there.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
The other thing I think too, no pun intended, but it can be like a nominal fact here, is when it comes to payments.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
this industry, we work a little bit different than other industries. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's kind of like a rat race to get a client's payment.
Yeah.
Or, like I know on Fit Nation podcast, they covered it, month or a year ago or something. And it's like, only in this industry can you be like, hey, bro, hey, I'll get you next week or the week after. Don't worry about it. It's like, wait a second, like this is our livelihood. Like this
Right.
is
Right.
this is
Right.
our
For
job.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
You
yes, we
know?
do it because we love
Yeah.
it. Yes, we
Yeah.
do it because, we excel at it. But at the end of the day, it's just like any other service. Like you're going to
Yeah.
pay the business on time. Like you're not going to pay your mortgage late, right?
Right, right, right. You're not going into Target saying, I'll get you next week. I'll get you next week on this chicken I'm buying today. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Payment, I mean, yeah, yeah. Pay your coaches on time.
Yeah.
Pay your, yeah, for
It
sure.
just takes an extra step out of everything else, from client check-ins to, booking flights for client shows, to this and
Yeah,
that, to
yeah,
pictures, to organizing stuff. It's like if your payment is on time or early, like that really shows a great client who's like
yeah.
on top of their stuff.
Right, for sure. Yep.
I think that it pretty much wraps up. I don't know if there's anything we're missing. I feel like we covered
Hmm.
quite a bit
Taking good
today.
pictures.
Take.
If the
Oh,
picture's
yeah.
too dark, if you're wearing pants,
Yep.
uh, um,
Camera
no
angle.
mirror selfies.
Camera angle too. Make sure the
Yeah.
camera's in front of you was my correction.
I think
Definitely.
everyone is self-sufficient with a phone now
Yeah.
and a tripod
Yeah.
or a timer, anything like
Yeah.
if you can figure out lighting for your selfies for your Instagram posts, you can figure
You
it
can
out
figure
for
out.
your
Yeah.
check-in picture.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to taking pictures, take more than you think you need.
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
just take the three or four. Like take more than you think you need because maybe the lighting's a little better in this one. Like you'd never know. Like it's just a way to just check an extra box and say, hey, like I sent extra photos just in case. Maybe these other photos that I think look good. Maybe the coach is like, actually, this doesn't really need what I need. Just take extra photos. You know,
Mhm.
I think that kind of checks that box, and then you're not, oh man, well, I'd messed up on my photos this week, or you know, I, Yeah, yeah, definitely take more photos. Yeah,
I think we'll wrap it up. This one kind of just popped in my head now, and then we'll kind of wrap up for today. In a future podcast, though, we will cover what it takes to have a good coach.
yeah,
That now that we covered the client side,
yeah.
but to kind of wrap up, once in a while, and I know we do have, plenty of people that do this, but say thank you to your coach.
Say thank you.
Like
Yeah.
we're
Support them. Share their
yeah,
stuff too. Like support, like I mean,
sharing.
yeah, like that stuff's free. Share their posts, share
A
their
referral is the best
yeah,
type of thank you.
yep,
We love when people post great progress online and tag
yeah,
their coach.
yep, yep,
Give your coach a little credit for helping you out.
yeah,
We love that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
that's very meaningful to a coach.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And like you said, Jordan, it's free. And I mean, think about, your goals, whatever that your X factor is, whether it's, to get ready for the cruise or to win a pro card. If your coach helps you, in that process, and helps you essentially to become a better person on and off stage, like that's a huge part of your life. And like you
Sure.
said, a simple thank you, it doesn't cost
It
anything.
and it goes a long way. Like I mean, there's always like, I don't have my Instagram yet. I keep saying I need to do this. But I mean, if your coach posts something, it's easy to just click on it, send it to your story so other people see it. I mean, I know you have your YouTube and stuff now going to as well, and I'll go on there and comment stuff. That all that stuff does is continue to help promote your guys' business and for other people to see, but it goes so far and it's free. It's like I'm not asking you to spend more money or anything. Like it's free. Just share the post or, wear the gear. Like I think I was the other day. I went to a new gym here in Minnesota, and the guy at the gym I knew for a long time, and I'm like, "Hey, give me a hoodie. I'm gonna pay for this hoodie. I'm paying full price for the hoodie,
Mhm.
Yeah.
just because I want to support you, and I want to, I'm gonna wear that hoodie when I'm training, and I'm gonna wear that hoodie when I'm going to
Yeah.
other gyms, and but it's simple stuff like that. Just support, you know. And kind of represent because I think what you guys have created with this team where it's at now is it's a very special thing, and that type of stuff is just it's free advertisement. It just helps continue to grow the team, and we're able to add more and more awesome people to the team as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Great points. Well, yeah, that wraps us up for today.
yep,
Make sure, share it like Jordan said, if you could,
Subscribe.
subscribe, like it,
yes,
and we
sir.
will see you all next time.